Hello my friends, welcome to the channel, great to have you here. I've reported over the last few months about what I believe was going to be huge growth for Nio and Xpeng, and particularly sales of EVs in China and sales of China's EVs outside of China. Believe me, it's happening. Now obviously I predicted there'll be enormous growth from the Chinese car companies, and that pattern has continued to follow in almost exactly the way I described it would. Hello and welcome to the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do so that you don't miss out on getting notifications in your feed of our new videos. I can tell you right now, the world is changing very fast, quicker than it ever has in history, and we're about to see a huge amount of money go from one group of people to another. This is just the beginning, and it's very exciting, to be honest. Not saying I agree with anyone political idea or another, or I'm going for one country or another. It's just very, very interesting to see what is playing out. Now, obviously, Nio and Xpeng have announced record high deliveries for June and Q2 2021. As many in the industry have predicted, well, maybe not many, at least a couple here and there. Now, I'm going to say it before I talk about what happened with Nio and Xpeng sales. This is just the start. We'll see a trend continue like this over the next decade, quarter-on-quarter increases continually from companies like Nio and Xpeng and Tesla and others, BYD, over the next decade. This is just the start of an ongoing trend that you'll see continue. Now, China continues to grow its EV presence as automakers and Tesla competitors. Nio and Xpeng have reported delivery records for June as well as Q2 of 2021. This is, like I said, a continued trend for Chinese automakers who have seen tremendous growth versus 2020. Now, if you're not already aware, Nio is a publicly traded automaker founded in 2014. If you want to buy a Nio stock, you can do so on the New York Stock Exchange. It's very easy to do. If you want to buy them from Australia, you can use the Stake app. If you want to buy them from the United States, the easiest way is probably Robinhood. Now, the company debuted its first EV, the EP9 two-seater sports car, the day its brand was established back in 2014, and Nio then quickly solidified itself as a leading brand for electric SUVs with its ES8, ES6 and EC6 offerings. Now, recently Nio announced the launch of its first luxury sedan, the ET7, and you've got to admit, it is one damn good looking vehicle. Even if you don't like Chinese cars, or you don't like China, or you don't like EVs, whatever. This is a damn good looking car, there's no question about it. Now, I think what is most important here to look at is the fact that recently Nio announced its expansion outside of China, with sales beginning in Norway. Now remember, Nio has actually been selling a small SUV in Europe, specifically in Norway, for quite some time now. And recently it was approved to sell the ES8 in Europe as well, which is a large SUV similar in size to the Audi Q7. Now, strangely, like Nio, Xpeng was also founded in 2014 and it's headquartered in Guangzhou, China. Xpeng went public last summer on the New York Stock Exchange, so you can buy shares of them as well if you want to, raising about $1.5 billion. Now, they currently sell the G3 SUV and the P7 sedan, which launched in 2019. But importantly, they recently announced pre-orders for a brand new sedan called the P5 at this year's Shanghai Auto Show. Now, obviously, if it sounds familiar that Nio is now selling overseas, so is Xpeng. Now, it's been reported by a bunch of major news outlets that Nio has outsold Xpeng, but guys, honestly, this is not really news because Nio has been outselling Xpeng every month now for the last 3 years. So that's just a fact. I mean, that's not news. That's just based on really what each car manufacturer is able to produce. Both of them are supply constrained in exactly the same way Tesla is supply constrained. And so they're just basically selling as many cars as they can get out of the door. Now, in a press release from Nio today, Nio reported that it delivered 8,083 vehicles last month. That represents 116% year-on-year growth versus the same month in June 2020. And it's also a 20% increase versus the sales they reported in May of 2021, when Nio delivered 6,700 vehicles. Well, the month before that, they actually delivered 7,000. They had a bit of a dip due to chip supply constraints, which pushed them down in terms of their deliveries. But as you can see, Nio obviously had a lot of the cars sitting there waiting for these chips. And as soon as they've actually gotten that supply in, they've been able to sell those additional vehicles. So what about breakdown? What vehicles did they actually sell? Well, Nio sold 1,500 ES8s, 3,755 ES6s, and 2,830 EC6s. So for the second quarter of 2021, Nio reported that it delivered 21,896 vehicles. That's a new quarterly record, representing an increase of 112% year on year. As of June 30, 2021, Nio's cumulative deliveries of its 3 available EVs have reached 117,600. Guys, keep in mind though, these numbers sound small, but Nio is a premium auto manufacturer. They are not a manufacturer that appeals to the mass market in China because their vehicles are too expensive for the majority of people buying cars in China. That's just a fact. I'm not talking about this. I'm not trying to make a comment on the Chinese society or anything like that. I'm just telling you that Nio is selling in the premium market, and obviously the premium market in China is much smaller. However, even in spite of that fact, they are still selling every vehicle they can make. Now, Xpeng reported its highest ever monthly deliveries for June, totaling 6,565 vehicles delivered in the month. That number was an enormous 617% increase compared to June deliveries in 2020 and a 15% increase compared to reported deliveries last month in May. So this month's deliveries from Xpeng consisted of 4,730 P7s and 1,835 G3s. So in a similar way as Nio, Xpeng saw a record in Q2 2021, an enormous record in fact, totaling 17,400 deliveries and making a 440% increase year on year. As of June 30, 2021, Xpeng's cumulative deliveries have reached 30,738 units for the year. This is a massive 460% increase compared to the same point in 2020. And like I said, I believe this trend will continue. I don't think you'll see 460% increases successively ongoing. That's just unsustainable. But I think you'll more than likely see 200% increases reported for the quarters ongoing for at least the next 24 months. Now, there's really no point comparing these two automakers yet because the reality is that they're selling every car they can. So unless you want to be sensationalist and say one's better than the other because blah, blah, truthfully, I think they're actually both offering a very premium product. Customers see them in the same level. They see them in the range of a BMW or Mercedes. Whether you want to believe that or not, it doesn't matter because it's actually a true fact. They're selling in that price range. They're selling like in the sort of price range as say a BMW 3 Series or Mercedes C-Class. However, obviously consumers perceive EVs as being premium vehicles, and it's not going to be very long until consumers perceive petrol and ICE vehicles as being non-premium. I believe we're heading in that direction now, and there's a significant cohort of buyers now who simply do not want an ICE vehicle no matter what. That percentage of the population who don't want an ICE vehicle will continue to increase all over the world and continue to increase in China. So the real tale here of this data is enormous EV adoption in China, as over the last quarter, EVs represented around about 10% of the entire Chinese market. Remember, a large percentage of that, of course, is made up by Tesla, but also a large percentage of that is made up by the Hongwan Mini EV, which is a $5,000 EV. Looks like a mini hatch. It's actually a quadricycle, but no one cares. It looks like a small car. And this thing is selling like crazy and is definitely going to be one of the most important cars, along with the Tesla Model 2 for the world. Another really important car this year will be BYD's new EA1, codenamed Dolphin. Expect to see more about that car over the coming months. And check out my videos about all the Chinese EVs, about Tesla, about everything that's happening in the Chinese market and globally down below. I'll put some links in the description. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.